Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the live crypto trading room. Today is March 15th, 2024, foul year of our Lord, as we look to close out another beautiful trading week in the cryptocurrency markets, but with some very timely updates. So I want to share with you guys, I want to get right into this. On the weekly time, oh, hold on. There we go. Almost forgot to hit the record button, but there we go. We are now recording. All right, so I want to get right into this, giving you guys the timely updates as we are getting close to a weekly closure. And I want to go over the latest trades, how things have been closed out, how I'm navigating the markets, and how I'm viewing everything. So hopefully you guys enjoy the stream. If you want to support us, don't forget to smash the like button. And let's get cracking right on with this. Weekly time frame, we'll start off here. What is the most important thing that we need to know as Bitcoin investors? What do we need to do with our positions? What do we need to do with our positional trades, our long-term positions? Listen, guys. We are in a bull market, right? So we are going to view any kind of significant dips on the order of 20 to 30% as buying opportunities, allowing us to size up for a much larger movement. We also need to be very much aware of the fact of how much the risk of pullbacks intensifies after parabolic movements. All right. The last time we had a parabolic movement in Bitcoin, we can see right here, that lasted from October until December of 2023. And then we went sideways. We went sideways for about 2 months before finally breaking out into another parabolic movement. And so going sideways here is probably the best scenario. That is probably the best case scenario. Going sideways, holding the $65,000 support would be very good. Previous all-time high, all right? Obviously 69K being the previous all-time high, but I don't expect that to hold as support. We've already broken that as support. That's actually where we're currently trading, slightly beneath. You can see that we did wick down here very closely to this more critical level of support, I do believe. That's 64,000. Although it is my personal opinion that that might not hold. If we do see a pullback, we are probably looking at 60K. That would be putting us right on the order of those 15 to 20% pullbacks that we get, right around 12%. So that's all well and good. Okay. What things do we need to pay attention to that would make us potentially bearish right now? Well, we have redlined volatility for the second week in a row. All right. Whenever we redline on volatility, it just simply, this is a measurement that calculates volatility via the Bollinger Bands. The farther they are apart, the higher the volatility is in this particular thing. This indicator literally stands for BBWP. But this has been a fantastic addition to my toolkit. You can see here that the last time we redlined during the 2021 run-up, we had one more week of limited upside, and then we went sideways for a month before another breakout. So exactly like the pattern that we saw here. But if we do overlay the 2021, if we do an analog model, if we overlay 2021 over the current rally, we can see that we followed along very nicely, but we did have a 25% pullback at this point in time in the last rally. So the first week of redlining volatility, we have a 25% pullback, then basically trade back up to the top of the range and break out. So if we do experience a 20 to 25% pullback over the next few weeks, I am going to be looking at that as a long-term buying opportunity. Again, everyone that listen, all the normies are coming out of the woodworks. Google search trends are up. I just saw the latest report that Google search trends for BTC have actually now surpassed things like Beyonce and Super Bowl searches. So again, the normies are returning, and I think people are not prepared for the amount of capital that is about to be injected into these markets. ETF flows have been absolutely dominating everything. And where we're going is going to be pretty insane. All right. But we are still going to be having pullbacks. So weekly time frame, we are redlining in volatility. As I said, TSI is still bullish. So that's going to be our main trend determination indicator that we're going to be using right here. And RSI is, of course, extremely overbought and pulling back, the most overbought that we have seen in this rally thus far. Actually, no, we did get more overbought back in January of 2020. Oh, yeah. January of 2021 is the last time weekly RSI has been this oversold. So again, we are looking very much like this area of the market that we experienced back in 2021, where we went parabolic at that time, making a new all-time high, and then pulling back about 25%. All right. And again, a 25% pullback from right here, well, we have to measure from the top. A 25% pullback from the top would be putting us down around 54,000. So basically just reclaiming, filling in this fair value gap, and basically coming back down here to kind of test the upper echelons of previous resistance. All right. Just basically coming down to this zone right here, which is still a very good zone, very good reentry opportunity. All right. So if we do experience this over the next couple of weeks, I don't want you guys to be mega panicked and as Bitcoin dumps literally as I'm saying this. So let's speed up a little bit in case you guys do need to make some changes and decisions. All right. So that's where we're at on the weekly time frame. Daily time frame, actually, we're going to skip to the 4-hour time frame, and then we're going to go back up. Actually, you know what? Let's not skip. Let's go to the daily time frame. And it's going to be nice. Give me 1 second. I need to. Not on the daily. Not on the daily. Not on the daily. Not on the daily. All right. So for those of you individuals who are, excuse me, I got to select these two. Oh, come on. You are killing me. Settings, visibility, not on the daily. Not on the daily. Not on the daily. All right, not too bad. And then we can take this off too, actually. Yeah, visibility not on the daily. All right. So I am short on BTC. I did open up a short yesterday. I suggested to all the individuals in the premium trading group to close out long positions to manage long risk. For altcoins that were in profit, to move those stop losses up to profitable positions or continue closing them, consider closing them. And then we did go short on BTC. So far, everything is going according to plan. We've already hit TP1 on this movement. So for traders who are in the premium trading group, who are following along with this, make sure that your stop losses have been moved down into profit, that everything is looking good for your trades and that you're in a no loss situation. All right. Why did I take this position? Well, on the daily time, let's first off, let's just go over the daily time frame and see what today is suggesting. All right. We already had signals to close out long positions. Of course, RSI has been a little choppy over the last few days. So if you're using the aggressive version of the strategy and essentially entering in on every RSI crossover, we did get chopped here and here because we did have 2 re-entry signals. But here we got told to get out. Here we got told to get out the very next day. So anytime that in and of itself is a warning signal. When you start getting a lot of chop from your trending indicators and you have multiple positions back to back get chopped out almost instantaneously, kind of lets you know that this is not an area of the market you should be trading in and that you should either switch to a high volatility strategy on a lower time frame, most likely, or what you need to do is just sit this area of the market out. And at that point in time, we definitely do want to be closing long risk. So on the daily time frame, we have broken down below the 9 exponential moving average. So we have lost the immediacy of the current upwards trend. We have come down and tested the 21 daily exponential moving average, back testing up. What things to watch for over the weekend is seeing if we can get a break, a close back above 68,924 on a lower closing basis, like an hourly or a 4-hour candle above 68,924, essentially where the daily 9 EMA is coming in at, would be our first hint of an aggressive buyback at this point in time. TSI on the daily, as I was just talking about, it's gotten chopped up here just a little bit, giving us a very clear and powerful signal to the downside now at this point in time. And so if you are trading counter trend, we are looking at a short signal right now. All right, a daily swing short signal. But again, this is not really the trade that I'm going to be taking because I'm not taking daily counter trend setups. I am taking meso time frame counter trend setups though, because I did see the setup on the 4-hour, which I'm going to be talking about here very shortly. So we did have this regular bearish divergence coming in from the RSI. We had regular bearish divergence coming in on the TSI as well. So both of these indicators were warning that we were going to be getting a sell-off, and obviously BBWP just kind of coming back down into lower volatility, but we have no BBWP signal yet. So again, what does all this mean? It's a lot. All of this basically means that this area of the market was weak, and we did have clear early warning signs. This is how a trader like me was able to identify that the correct move was to short. And I'll tell you exactly what I noticed that made me realize this. So as I came down to the 4-hour time frame, I noticed, and I'm going to contrast this area of the market with the previous area of the market. So I'm going to move my cursor over. I'm going to move my cursor over so that we can basically see this last run up, all right, that I'm comparing this to. Now, if you analyze this run up, and I'll take the EMAs off, right? But if you analyze this run up, you can see that there is very little selling pressure, right? Sellers come in here, all right? We get a little bit of a down movement, okay? And sellers come in here, but all of these movements are very weak. All of these movements are very weak overall. We're able to hold consistent support here. We don't break any new lows, as you guys can see in this consolidation range. Right where I have my cursor making a horizontal line is the support level that was there for that range. There was no scary, significant selling that broke prices down to new lows. Now, if we compare that with this run up that we just experienced in BTC, and I'll get zoomed in here so you can see a little bit better, this is a very different scenario. So look, we have the initial breakout, and here we have kind of the same thing. Prices going sideways, holding a nice consistent support, higher low here leading to another run up, and then huge chunk down, huge sell off, massive sell off. All right, this is scary. Another run up, another big sell down, breaking levels of support, another big sell down. And then finally, I just identified yesterday this next leg of the sell down. And I was like, all right, well, this is the fourth time that sellers have attempted to sell in this range. You have to identify these patterns, and you have to see the motivations and the machinations of those who are significantly moving the market. Why are these people selling? Well, okay, that's pretty easy to surmise. Bitcoin is at a new all-time high. Of course they're trying to sell. Of course they're trying to get as much as they can for what they're trying to get as much as they can out of their positions, right? We have just anytime something is at a new all-time high, it's very logical. Everybody wants to sell here. This is where everybody wants to sell. Everybody wants to sell at the top. So why wouldn't they be selling here? Come on, you just got to think about it for a second. But the fact that they're selling came in such volume and with such strength that we can see all of these big attempts to break the market down that did not occur on our previous run-up, right? That I just contrasted this against. There's the previous run-up that I just contrasted that against. So this was indicating to me, I saw the weakness in the market. And after price initially crashed down to 68 and bounced back on this 4-hour candle, this 4-hour candle is exactly where I opened our short position yesterday. It was on this 4-hour candle to the upside that I closed out almost all my long positions, that I went short on BTC and held that position open. Not a full risk short, although kind of larger than I was expecting, but not too bad. I have no idea what just played over my speakers. Did any of that come through for you guys? I have no idea. Anyways, so 4-hour swing short. I feel very good about the position. Ultimately targeting something down around 60,000, because that would be, let's see, just from peak to trough here, would be about 18%. All right, that'd be an 18% movement. And we have been experiencing 20% pullbacks. That's the worst pullback that we've experienced in this bull market. I could see something worse, right? Like price could come down here to the 55. That would make a lot of sense to me. All right. And that would be something more like a 25% pullback. As I said, they'd be bringing us down to 55. That would also be if I extended this out to the right, this previous channel that we were trading in, that we broke out of. So we were trading in this ascending channel, broke out of the channel to the upside. This would just simply be a return to the top of the trading channel. And then the big question would just be, okay, well, do we get accepted back inside the trading channel and potentially go all the way to the bottom of it? Or do we find, establish this as firm support and move to the upside? So I am of the belief, of course, of the latter, that we establish this as firm support if we were to move all the way down here. But we shall see. The market shall tell us what we need to know. So other than that, on the 4-hour time frame, I think everything here is very well and clear. On Ethereum here on the weekly time frame, again, we have our first signs of weekly failure coming off of redlined volatility here as well. No bearish divergence did we really get from RSI here on the weekly, nor from TSI. Everything was just incredibly strong. But now Ethereum is down 5% on 5.5%, on the weekly, and we are kind of in that second week of redline volatility. So what do we need to know here? The big things we need to know on the weekly time frame about Ethereum. Well, with redline volatility and an overbought RSI, and prices showing the first signs of weekly weakness that we've seen in quite a while, we don't want to be entering any long positions on here. You can, of course, aggressively buy the dip, and of course, I do recommend that individuals DCA on their way up or down. But for Ethereum is just going to track right along with BTC's price. So if Ethereum was also to experience probably a more pronounced pullback, something on the order of like 30%, that would be putting us down to around 29.43. So kind of just, around $3,000, which would be a logical pullback target for Ethereum. The really juicy spot that I'd be targeting is always, of course, the EMA cluster between the 21 and the 55 and between 22.49 and 26.34. That's totally fine as well. But, overall, just, looking for what price is going to do is totally fine. Ethereum is going to track along with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin moves down, Ethereum is going to move down as well. Ethereum on the daily time frame here. Again, we've had this beautiful TSI run up. We have now gotten the TSI closing underneath on yesterday's candle. So that was the signal to be exiting long positions. So again, just following along with this simple free indicator strategy in the methodology of PTP would have gotten you out of your long swing. That would have got you in here and gotten you out here. Okay, this is how we trade. We trade the big moves. Again, and we did have, of course, we did have a little bit of RSI bearish divergence coming in here as well. All right, so RSI bearish divergence. Volatility has moved down, so we could anticipate the fact that volatility has come down, not below, well, yes, below 20%, and now expanding above 20%. We could expect that if we were to get a trending signal, and technically this is a trending signal to the downside, so we don't really want to be taking those, excuse me, we don't really want to be taking those, I apologize. My words are failing me right now. Let's just move on. Ethereum on the daily time frame. So we are at the aggressive pullback zone. So if you do want to aggressively buy pullbacks on Ethereum, this is the spot to do it. And he bounces off the 21. But we have seen that Bitcoin, on this move to the downside, has really not been respecting those level. Well, actually, yeah, it has. Bitcoin in a similar situation, kind of came down, bounced off the EMA 21. Ethereum being a little bit slower to respond than any bullishness. So we did get a little bit of a buyback here. Potentially we could get a more pronounced buyback. Let's see here. If we kind of fib it out, 382, we could see price go back to about 37.69. That would be completely fine. And then the next level of support for Ethereum is coming in around the daily 55, which is sitting down around 31.32. So again, a lot of signs, a lot of signals pointing down at that $3,000 level. All right, guys, give me 1 second. I apologize. All right. Apologies for that. Okay. All right. So I guess that's the big takeaway. All right. We did get clear signs of this dump coming in on the Bitcoin 4-hour chart, which we were able to identify, and we did take the opportunity to swing short. We're just going to hold those positions open for now. We did close out almost all of our long risk. We are holding on to some DGen DeFi long risk because there is variance in how DeFi moves. It's not always directly correlated. Unfortunately, those are kind of moving down as well. So anyways, those were kind of longer term positions anyways, so that we plan to hold those until June. So life good. Ethereum showing the same weakness as Bitcoin, of course. We are, of course, at the kind of first important area of the 21 exponential moving average. So I'm not really expecting any big movements over the weekend. All right. I won't be 100% surprised if we do get a big move down over the weekend, but typically we don't get that. We typically do not get weekend dumps, right? Friday is closed. ETF flows will kick in on Monday, and Monday and Tuesday flows are the strongest. So we'll kind of see, I expect the Bitcoin ETF flows on Monday and Tuesday to continue to be incredibly strong. Today we had, but the flows have been very strong on Monday and Tuesday, and they're still strong, but they have been trickling off towards the end of the week. Yeah, so we had $1 billion of net inflows just a few days ago, and today down to 132.52 million. So we can see here that daily total flows have absolutely fallen off following yesterday's. Again, and Grayscale still showing net outflows of 257 million today. So, or excuse me, this was as of yesterday. All right, this was as of yesterday. So when market closes, we'll get updated information. We can still see here that ByBit's BlackRock ETF is still gobbling up the lion's share of all liquidity flowing into net flow. Sorry if you guys can't see that very well, but yeah, here's GBDC is outflow for yesterday, and ByBit's BlackRock's IBIT inflows. All right, as well. Okay, good stuff. That is essentially the market update for today. I just wanted to give you guys with that information. Overall, what is my general advice to individuals? I think that you need to follow your own heart. I think that you need to follow your own trading strategy. I am just telling you what I do. I have taken a short on BTC. I've taken no short risk on Ethereum. I still have a lot of spot Ethereum. I am going to view any more significant dumps as buying opportunities. So I'll be looking to purchase. I'll be looking to purchase Bitcoin at 60,000. I'll also be looking to purchase Bitcoin at 55,000. On a nice pullback would be very, very nice. Ethereum, very similarly, I'll look to add to my position down here at 3,000. I'll look to add to my position down here at 2,500 as well, if we do get something like that. All right, we'll go through the altcoins here in just a little bit and go over what I'm watching and what I'm thinking with our Fairdesk copy trade pairs. But first, let's see. I see a lot of questions in the chat, so let's get to this. Shout out to DS to Crypto, challenged investor as well. Good to see you in the chat. We've got Peckham. All right, let's see here. What do I think of gold and silver? Well, I mean, fundamentally, I love collecting silver. I love to go to coin shows. I'm not really much into numismatics, although I have just started with my my daughter with some coin collecting, so that's kind of fun. You know, she's 6, so teaching her about the walking dollars and start, you know, collecting the Wheaties and all that kind of stuff. It's just fun to teach kids value and things like that. I think gold is fantastic. I don't have as much gold as I would probably like to. I fundamentally believe that gold and silver are always generally good investments. They're good things to have. Immutable X as a longer term investment. I think Immutable X is a fantastic longer term investment. Give me a second. Let me pull up some of my information on Immutable X over here. Immutable X was actually, wait a second. Yeah. So I think Immutable X is really good. Immutable X is a small portion of my portfolio in the GameFi category. I think that is a good narrative to target. I think GameFi is going to be extremely strong this cycle. GameFi has already been extremely strong this cycle. I think GameFi is going to be strong kind of period because gaming is a multi-billion-dollar industry. And gaming on blockchain is, again, I'm not sure if it's going to go anywhere actually long-term. Well, I do believe it will go somewhere long-term, right? But when I say long-term, I mean like 50 years. In the medium term, like in, 20 to 30 years, or 10 to 20 years, I think it can go. I think, I'm not sure exactly how far it's going to go in the next, like realistically. Not as far as price. I think prices will do very well because it's a huge speculative bubble, but I think that GameFi is getting is drawing a lot of heat right now, and so investing is good. So yeah, IMX is a small portion of my portfolio. I do believe in it for the long term. I think Immutable X is a good project. And GameFi is definitely something you want to have in your portfolio. So whether that's Engine, Gala Games, whatever you want to be, you know, however you want to be building up your portfolio. But the way that I think about crypto investing is I prefer to allocate my percentages, my weights of my portfolio into different narratives. All right. I prefer not to, I don't do risk parity. I understand modern portfolio theory, but you know, and I do work with that. But in general, I try to keep it simple. A simple approach has always worked for me very, very well. I think that if you overcomplicate it, you know, in the search of optimal, you don't accomplish good. All right. If you try to optimize to an extreme, you don't get good. So yeah, Immutable X good hold. Immutable X good hold. Let's take a quick look at the Immutable X chart. It's been a bit since I've looked here. Yeah, so I have been accumulating Immutable X for a while now. Where are we at right now? Let's get our indicators on here. Yeah, so a couple things here too that I just want to point out. We do have regular bearish divergence on the weekly time frame for this rally up. We also, no, not from TSI. So TSI is curling down and we are kind of recovering from being overbought. The last time this did occur, we sold off what? About 30% and then consolidated for a month before another leg back up. So for Immutable X, if we are going to get a pullback here in the cryptocurrency markets, I would be looking at this area right here. Initially between 228 and 161 is where I'd be looking to make more significant purchases of Immutable X into my portfolio if we wanted to try to target a pullback. And that would be right on order. Again, peak to trough here, we had about a 30% pullback. And peak to trough here, if we got a 30% pullback. 30% pullback would be putting us down to about 260, which is a little bit higher than our daily EMA or our weekly EMA 21. But essentially, yeah, this zone right here would be very good. All right, next question. Peckham still has his Doge long open. Good man. What would I suggest? Hero or zero it? Let's see here. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, you got to follow your heart, man. I mean, listen, so one thing you can always do, and I've said this many, many times. So when I look at Dogecoin on the weekly time frame, right? I know it's a meme coin, right? Meme coin trading is very, very fun, but I try not to get too caught up in it. In fact, I did end up removing all meme coins from my portfolio, right? And what I'm noticing too at the same time is that on this dip, traders are like max bidding out meme coins, right? This is not going to end well. So I look at Dogecoin and I'm like, all right, cool. We have this big 100% movement to the upside, right? 142% from trough to peak there. And we have redline volatility. It's the second week of redline volatility. We always want to be closing out positions in redline volatility. And so always, kind of my rule of thumb with most trades, with most crypto trades, is that if whatever I buy 2x's, all right, if that happens, I remove initial capital, right? I take the money that I put in. So if I put $1,000 in and that turns into $2,000, I immediately take $1,000 off the table, right? I take out my initial investment so that I'm just playing with house money. All right. And this happens much more often than you might think when you trade on decentralized exchanges. So that has essentially happened, right? You have doubled your money. So I'd take 50% of the trade off. And then, you know, maybe even more if you want to be aggressive, but at least 50% of the trade off. And then, you know, you just set up a big wide trailing stop loss or something like that, right? You can even do it manually. You can come down here and be like, all right, cool, 20%, right? And I'm just, you know, if price closes below this, I'm out. I'm not going to set a stop loss on the exchange because I don't want to get wicked out. And then just every day or week, you come in here and you just move this up so that it's 20% away from price, all right? So that's a pretty easy way to do a manual trailing stop loss. And this is often how I'll manage positional trades once we get to kind of this area of the market. But this area of the market is a warm up, I think, a tease for what the real top of the market will look like later on in 2025. Is a fantastic way to hedge that risk and actually just squeeze the last little bit of juice out. Let's see here. So I would do a combination of heroing and zeroing. Alex went to sleep at 72K and woke up at 66K. The Bitcoin clock ain't fun, man. You got to check that market update channel before you go to sleep, man. Every day. Nothing but alpha. Was thinking of a potential $50 billion market cap for IMX for a 10x. I think that makes a lot of sense. Trader Boris looking at a potential daily swing short on Lido and Arbitrum. What do I think? Okay. Very interesting. So here's what I think. I think this is pretty decent. All right. I think this is a pretty decent swing short. Now, with one caveat, we are above the EMA 200, which I usually do not like to short above the EMA 200 on the daily time frame, right? It means that I miss out on these pullbacks in bull markets, which I'm completely fine with. But it prevents me from thinking that the market's going to crash, 50% when really the time to be shorting is when we are trading underneath the 200 EMA, right? And the general trend is to the downside, right? Similarly here. When price is above the 200 EMA, we want to buy pullbacks. You know what I mean? We want to buy pullbacks. So I look at a chart like LDO and I say to myself, like, honestly, this is where I generally want to be buying. Now, we do have to take some context in, right? We do have to take some context into the fact that we made a new high, right? We made a new high, and then we formed a channel structure, right? You can see support coming in right here. We can see support coming in right here. 1, 2, 3, 4 touches on this level of support, okay? So in a trade like this, we kind of have to ask ourselves, like, all right, well, first off, I look at this trade, I look at LDO, and I'm like, okay, I wouldn't take this trade because it doesn't align with my strategy, right? Like, we're close, but we're above that 200 EMA. So I don't want to trade. I don't want to short above the 200 EMA. And we're also at support. So I look at that and I'm like, nah, I don't like those. Now, obviously it sucks to take the short down here, but that's, you do the BPR entry, right? Price breaks down, it will pull back, and then you get in on that pullback and then you short from there. Life's good. All right. So good ways to kind of mitigate that downside risk. Whoops, not the that one. Here we go. Okay, TSI is, of course, on the daily bearish. All right, TSI went bearish here. So if you're doing more, a little bit more of an aggressive PTP strategy, where you're just using a baseline, for example, and we're using the 55 here basically as a proxy for the Hall 60 or the Donchian 21, or hell, just as even as the 55 baseline itself, then I think you do have a very clear short signal, right? You have volatility crush, right? You have volatility crush right before this range, and now you have expansion out of that volatility crush, kind of letting you know that this could be a big movement. And so you just have to weigh that, right? Again, you have to weigh, like, all right, do I really want to short at support in the 200 EMA? But, we've got TSI moving down and the RSI moving down to this. So again, having a comprehensive strategy just takes care of all of this. Like, again, if your rule is to not short above the 200 EMA, then the answer is no. And so the answer is no for me. But I do think this is a nice setup, and especially as I'm feeling a little bearish and dumpy, it's probably not a bad idea. All right. Is there a lot of things I like? There's a lot of things I don't. If this chart came across my desk when I was doing my daily scan, I would say no, but I would also put it on my watch list and look for a BPR later, a little bit on, maybe next week. With regards to Arbitrum. With regards to Arbitrum, I see something very similar. So Boris, I see that you must be using a baseline of something like the Hall 60 or the 21 EMA or the 55. Because, if you're looking for swing shorts, and I know you trade in a PTP style, I mean, all of these are looking very nicely. Look, our momentum oscillators are giving bearish signals. RSI is back in bearish control zone. Volatility crush and expansion. Yeah, listen, man, I think if these trades are in your strategy wheelhouse, I think you should go for it, especially because I'm feeling dumpy. They just don't align with the strategy I'm currently running right now. But I think they're valid, good-looking setups, man. Same thing. I mean, this Arbitrum chart looks very similar to the LDO chart. We make a high, and then we establish a range with consistent support. Here is the support right where we're at right now, a little bit above the 200. But we're closing down below the 55 in a way that we haven't before. Every other time it's been a wick, right? Wick. Now we have a kind of bearish full-bodied candle closing down below that. And that is a qualitative difference that we would ignore at our peril. So I think they're good valid setups, man. Yes to crypto. Set aside enough for taxes, man. Who's paying taxes, dude? It's currently 2K in profits, and I took 200 out and I put in 50. Nice, man. Nice. Beautiful. Challenge investor. No problem, Boris. Happy to see you trading on and crushing it, my friend. All right, I'm gonna make a quick adjustment to. There we go. So challenged investor says here, algo, HBAR, and quant. Yeah. So again, in summary, guys, just to revisit, the market does look pretty heavy right now. I mean, anything we want to look at looks very toppy. The only exceptions to this are like the Solana ecosystem. So things like Solana are doing very well. Pyth is doing good. What else is doing good? Things like Jupiter. Jupiter's doing great. Radium's doing well. These are all Solana ecosystem coins, and because there's a massive meme coin run going on over on the Solana ecosystem, I think these things are looking okay for now. For now. But the rest of the market is extremely weak. If Bitcoin is unable to hold, 67.4, I think it might be a difficult weekend to get through, guys. All right. Might be a difficult weekend to get through. Yes to crypto with the $5 super chat, man. Thank you so much, brother. Here's my expected tip for some degen and COQ analysis later in the show. Let's do it right now, man. Let's get it right now. In fact, let's switch over and let's talk about some degen DeFi stuff. All right, let's do it. All right. First things first. Okay, so you guys didn't ask for this, but let's talk. You guys didn't ask for this, but let's talk about it. So, Metaplex, another Solana token. I had bought this, made a little bit of money. Like we barely wicked our TP1 here. And then we had this nice pullback. So I am looking for this breakout of this falling wedge. I already traded Metaplex once. I don't know why it's not showing my... It's not showing my trades on the screen, which it normally does. But yeah, I bought Metaplex somewhere down here and sold like somewhere around here. Or I might have sold here. I'm not sure. I have to go back and look. But now we've got a beautiful falling wedge. As I've said, there's really one pattern that I like to look for in crypto and bull markets, and God, is that a falling wedge. I mean, beautiful. Targeting here and here, but I'm just kind of keeping, and Solana I could probably enter because the ecosystem looks okay, but I want to be forward thinking here. And so I just closed it out. I've got almost all my long risk closed. I do have pulse chain long risk, but that's okay because I intended on holding that pulse chain long risk for a while. I think those are more positional trades. Or at least that's what I'm telling myself. And life's good. Yeah, and then the only other token that I'm currently holding on Solana is this ST bot. Now it's showing my trades. But I bought ST bot all the way back here, down here, and I already sold on the big run up half, And now I'm just holding my other half. Yeah. So nothing so far. Degen. Wow, that's Jesus. What is going on here? Oh my God, Degen. Wow. Hey man. Hey. What is going on, Degen? Are we? Oh my goodness. Did we just break out of a descending channel? Not as good as a falling wedge, but gosh darned it, we'll take it. I bet that looks fancy on the 4-hour time frame. Yeah, this is really good. You know, daily volatility crush right here and expansion. Degen looks like it's making a move. Yeah, well, not volatility crush, but BBWP did get down. But yeah, TSI just gave a beautiful signal yesterday. Gave a beautiful breakout signal yesterday. So breaking above the upper level of the channel. Keep in mind, there's always pullback and throwback risk. All right. So this is typically how I always like to do breakout trades. So I would have entered immediately. All right. I don't care. And then if price comes back down to the pullback here, which is also the 21 daily EMA, I double my position. Okay. With relatively tight invalidation. All right. Double my position with relatively tight invalidation. And if we close back within the channel, I close the trade. All right. Pullback's okay. But I kind of want to see, you want to see pullbacks get bought up. You want to see pullbacks be wicks, right? You want to buy on hammer candles and things like that because it shows you that, oh man, price did dump, but then buyers snapped it up real quick. So setting limit orders allows you to be one of those buyers who snap it up real quick because your orders are just filled without you thinking about it. But yeah, man, I'm not going to lie. Degen is actually looking to break out of this daily channel, which is pretty nice. Now, you know, we're kind of on our own here because we've pretty much already retraced the 618 of this previous movement. So yeah, Degen having a nice, 80% pullback and now back up again, another 500%. So shout outs to the Degen traders out there. I mean, you guys are crushing it. Yeah, TSI bullish crossover, RSI bullish crossover. Now, the daily isn't overbought territory, but it's always going to be overbought, especially when we have kind of low volatility like this and we've just had a little range and then we get some big moves coming in. So congrats to the Degen traders out there. Let's see if we can come up with some logical price targets. So for this, we're just going to be using a trend-based fib extension tool. This is kind of a great tool when we don't have a lot of other resources available to us. We're just going to basically, you see, I'm being sloppy here. I don't care. We're just, we just want some guidelines. So we're going to measure from the bottom to the top of the previous rally. And then with our trend-based fib extension tool, we'll come down here and we'll start our movement from the bottom of that rally. So if this rally does exactly what the previous rally did, then we can look for price to ultimately end up at 67.24. Not bad. Good TP target there. Slightly above new all-time high. And then we'll get greedy here with the 1.618. Okay. And we can get greedy here with the 2.618 too. Okay. So those are pretty good. Operation Moon Mission. So we're looking at a 40% TP, a 100% TP, and a 237% TP. Of course, keeping in mind that, Degen can always do much more than that. We never know how these Degen coins are going to go. So congratulations to the Degen holders. Looks like we are getting close and back up to close to all-time high. Words of caution, things to consider as we're trading Degen. Things to consider as we're trading Degen. The closer we get back up to this all-time high, we have to understand that there's probably a lot of people who bought here. So there could be some stiff resistance getting past this last barrier. All right. But hey, hold the trade. Big volume came in yesterday on that breakout candle. So that is very significant. Huge volume coming in out of a breakout. Quite good. I think Degen can actually go quite a bit farther here. So congrats to the Degen holders. Very happy for you guys. All right, let's go over to base chain or no, not base chain. I'm sorry. That's on Avalanche. And check out COQ. COQ. I mean, listen, it's almost like this is my job. All right, so COQ came down, just barely missed our pullback target right here. All right, pullback target here at 40.78 and rallied off of that. I mean, already 31%, and now heading down. So listen, as always, I'm seeing a few things here. We did see buyers step in at that zone, so very good. We do know that buyers are there. We do know that there is strong support around the $4,000 price level. So DGen gets bought up and stashed over there. It's a good sync utility. What do you mean? Where? It's stashed where? I feel like you were having a conversation in another chat window and then typed into here. Get a little elevated here for this one. I think better at higher elevations. Okay. COQ Inu. We do have current resistance at 64.87. That is the current peak of the market. We've pulled back a little bit since there. We did kind of flash wick down to the pullback target, the level of support that I had established. All right. In my opinion, we haven't really been able to make significant progress. So things we need to watch for now for COQ Inu. First off, of course, we can just continue to hold the position. That's absolutely fine. Okay. We can continue to hold the position. That's just fine. We do have some diagonal resistance that we could look to break out on. So we are looking for a break at about 57.47 in the short term here on the 4-hour chart. Otherwise, I would kind of look to see if price can come down here and consolidate around 4,000. That would kind of be the buyback target that I'd be looking to re-enter on something like COQ Inu, unless we're going to, experience a complete failure, but you got to take your chances. We do have a measured move target of 78.88 or 79.86, excuse me. I apologize. So we traded in this channel. We expanded. We are now kind of hovering around the mid zone of the channel right now. So just looking for price to make a more orderly movement down here to 4,000. Get some nice buybacks in. That's kind of what I'd like to see for COQ Inu. I don't have a lot of advice right now for something like COQ Inu. Because we did see buyers step in, but overall it's just going to take some time. I can see that we're kind of like forming a range, basically. But see, the breakdown of that range just basically puts us at our pullback target. So I would pretty much just steadfastly be a buyer here. This is where I'd look to be a buyer in the markets. And then you can either be taking those kind of shorter term profits, those mean reversion trades on movements back up to 5,200. That's probably the safer way to do it. Just kind of taking those nice consistent profits on those moves up. Or ultimately, of course, holding some of that position to see if we can get up here to 8,000 on COQ Inu. Oh, that's cool. Dracula is TikTok and I don't know what Friend Tech and Web3. Smart wallet gets created and people transfer DGen there. Yeah, I don't know what it is, man. It'd be nice if we had 600k subs, but it's because we don't shill things, I think, or whatever, for whatever reason. Maybe just the stuff that I make isn't, optimized for YouTube. I like at the end of the day, right? YouTube is just clearly telling us that we don't make content that a lot of people want to watch. And I would love for that to be different. I could probably make some big changes and make content that more people want to watch, but then, I don't know. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm happy with where we're at though. It's cool. I like to keep the, circle small. Challenged Investor asks, how high do I think Bitcoin will hit by the end of the 2025 bull market? All right. So I really like the $150,000 price target. Right. I really like the $150,000 price target. So basically like a 2x, right? I believe in the law of diminishing returns. Yeah, there is that. But for that, you know, something that's worked really well for me, again, you know, keep it simple, right? Something that's worked really well for me is this indicator by Capriel Charles. We need to view this in the logarithmic scale. All right. So this is the Bitcoin oh, sorry, you guys can't see this. This is the Bitcoin power law corridor indicator. Oh, whoops. My drawings. And you can basically see just how well this has done at tracking price. It's a simple logarithmic model. And it's done real well. Obviously, we didn't reach quite as high. We were supposed to go 50% higher in 2021. But overall, this is done really good. And so we are basically still in the land of cheap Bitcoin. All right. We're still in the land of cheap Bitcoin. Anything underneath the gray center line is considered, you know, buy zone. Okay. Anything in the red zone is considered we should be selling here. So isn't that beautiful how we came up to the center and immediately found resistance? It's a beautiful indicator. All right. It's a beautiful. It's almost as if some of the significant market movers in Bitcoin really understand math. Interesting. So we are 45% above support. And this says that we can go another 327%. All right. That would be putting Bitcoin's price around $290,000. So my 5-minute elevator pitch answer is 150K, just a 2x, right? Very simple, very nice, easy, simple, plain. Everybody likes it. It's a good psychological number. Everybody's targeting that. So what the Bitcoin miner analysts say they're targeting, let's go. And then you have the regression model answer, which is about 300,000. All right, about 300,000. So again, you know, what do we do on a 2x, right? My approach is same thing. I mean, it's generally there's two ways I scale out, right? Of longer term weekly positions like this. Okay. Basically I use the daily time frame, and whenever we get a really overbought area of the market, you know, volatility redlining, overbought RSI, things like that, you know, I'll take profit. All right. I'll just DCA out the same way I DCA'd in. Right. So, you know, take some profit here and here and here and here and here. And I'll look to just mostly be out at the top. Right. I always leave 10%. I always leave 10% to run as a moon bag. And that is 10% that I hold all the way down. That's completely fine. Dre, thanks for the sub, man. But that's 10, you know, I always leave 10% as a moon bag, man. You know, and that's kind of the trophy trading strategy. So this is how I've built up like small positions and things that I've held for years, right? And then one day I'll look and it's like, oh, that thing that I just held is like now worth a couple grand. So those are always nice. I go out and buy something nice for the wife, whatever. I think we can expect a pullback here. I think this is very logical to expect something like a pullback. And yeah, I think 300K is a fine moonshot target for BTC on this rally. Right? That's what the math says. And the math was just a little wrong last cycle. So we'll see. Do I know if in prior cycles, BTC on average only took 18 days to double? Probably not this time. Well, let's just do a little bit of math. We're going to ignore the 2013 rally. So let's just go to the 2017 rally. So we'll mark off what was the previous all-time high, which at that point in time was 1,160. And then we went to 2K, 2,200, excuse me, in 126 days. Oh, wait. When did we? All right, so we broke the all-time high here. And then we reached 2,200 84 days later. 84 days later in 2017 is how long it took to double price. And then the next all-time high was 20,000. And we broke that here. And to get to 40,000, it took 28 days. So 84 and 28 is what we're going to go with. So if we average those out, like 2.5 months. Like 2.5 months. Sounds about right. Capriol has a minor cost estimate too. Yeah, Capriol Charles has fantastic indicators. I really like this, the higher time frame things. Cheap is more than you can afford to buy and not enough you can find them. Yeah, of course, man. Roranor, good to see you in the chat. Tyler, good to see you in the chat. We will have multiple bull cycles in the next few years. Bitcoin is a call option on the rise of multipolarity. I don't even know what that means. And I know what all those words mean. But I love you. So I'm going to be able to buy 50 and sell 300. Do you promise? I remember those 20. Yeah, that's a great 28 days. So, yeah, so if we did double, we would be at 150K in 2.5 months. Yeah. We like the number 55. Not going to lie. We really like the number 55. So, yeah, that all looks good to me. All right, guys. Got a few minutes left in the stream, unless, of course, we're going to smash this member goal. So overall, I just wanted to come on, give you guys this nice weekend update. Not weekend update, but end of week update. Tell you where I'm at. You know, I basically de-risked to the long side. I've got a little bit. I don't have a ton of short risk open, right? I'm mostly flat in the market. Obviously, my portfolio is net long. Okay, that's fine. For my portfolio, we're not doing anything. I'm not bullish enough on the... okay. Boris says SEI on the daily looks strong, almost has that classic Fisher cross above zero. Shout out to Alex. Maybe long Psy, a short ARB will be my play at daily close. That's, that doesn't sound too ludicrous, my friend. Because Psy does look strong. And in fact, we have a bullish TSI crossover today. We have a bullish RSI crossover today, and volatility has gotten crushed. And although it hasn't updated yet, we are probably now getting expansion above 20%. So very good, actually. Yeah, I like SEI here too. I might hop in here with you. Oh, thank you, challenged investor. I appreciate that, man. Let's see here. Also, I want you guys, by the way, a little public service announcement. There is, obviously meme coins are really popping right now. And because of that, there's also a lot of increased risks and scams and spam. Gibby13 asks, by the way, thanks for being a member, man. Is it worth selling off my spot bag to wait for lower prices? So listen, in general, my answer is always no. The reason why is because you certainly can do that. Okay. But, kind of tinkering around and trying to optimize your entry prices with a trading account, you know, $5, $10, $15, $20,000 trading account is one thing. Yeah, this is the hedging discussion. But the problem, there's a practical problem. There is a psychological change that happens when you have bought things that you told yourself when you bought them you were going to hold for a long time. Right? When you bought these things, because when you say spot, to me, that to me implies like I'm buying spot to hold for the long term. All right, to hold for whatever, you know, to hold for the bull market. This is my hodl bag, right? I'm building up my portfolio. When you then basically go back on your word to yourself and you see an area of the market where you're like, okay, well, I could sell here and buy back cheaper. The problem, there's a huge practical problem. Something changes in your brain. Something changes in your brain when that happens to where I'm just, I don't know. This is kind of like hard to explain, but I'm trying because it's very important because it's happened to me so many times and I've seen it happen to so many other people. Something changes once you do that, once you make the decision to sell and buy back in at a lower price. And let's not even get into like, does that work out for you? Does it not work out for you? What's the worst case scenario? You sell and then, you know, this guy on the internet's completely wrong. We wake up tomorrow morning and Bitcoin is pumped 20%. We're at 80,000. Altcoins are exploding and we're just go right up to 150K. That's the worst case scenario, right? But let's say you're right and prices pull back. And you sell, prices pull back, and you buy back in cheaper. Okay, great. You feel validated. But then when it happens again, maybe 3 months down the line, 4 months down the line, 5 months down the line, it happens again. The stakes are higher because prices are so much higher. Now you're really asking yourself, because nobody's thinking right now that the bull market's over. Nobody is thinking that the bull market's over. So when we're thinking, we're like, all right, cool. Bitcoin might pull back 30%, hell, even 50%, right? I'm fine with that, right? I'll just buy back lower. The problem is it just makes, I guess the easiest way to say it is this. Once you do that, it makes actually holding through, because this is not a lot of volatility. Like what we're seeing right now is not a lot of volatility. We haven't seen volatility yet. And when that volatility comes in, it's very scary. But those are the times when holding is the most important, because that's when we're kind of like on the getting close to the end of the bull market. And that's when prices can like really step on the gas. So listen. If we're talking about portfolio positions, the answer is no. I do not recommend that anybody sell their spot portfolio positions to repurchase back at a later time. I'm also not going to say that that's wrong to do. Okay. Because it can be done. It is just very hard to do psychologically. All right. Now, let me tell you what I would recommend. What I would recommend is hedging. Hedging is a way that you can take the exact same trade, make the exact same money, but you don't have to sell your assets. You don't have to make any changes to your spot bags. And you take a calculated amount of risk up front. You know exactly how much you could potentially lose ahead of time. Multiple ways to hedge your positions, right? Just evaluate your entire portfolio in BTC and take 50% of that as a future short, 100% of that, 200% of that if you want to take a lot of risk and you're feeling really bearish, whatever, right? You trade however your heart guides you. Options, buy in the money options at current strike price. Do not buy out of the money options unless you know what you're doing with options. If you want to make simple money off of options, you buy in the money strikes and you trade and you bet on the direction you think price is going to go with, you know, long dated expirations, 3 months at the minimum. You're not going to get any FD advice in here from me over to Wall Street Bets for that. So with a trade, and the reason why I recommend that is when you buy things for your portfolio, often we're not exactly sure what our stop loss is going to be. Do we even have a stop loss for spot portfolio bags? You know, we're in it to win it. It's 2x or nothing, 10x or nothing. So, and that's fine, because if we don't have a clearly defined stop loss, then it's very just easy to hold, right? You just hold the position. But with a trade, when you put on a trade as opposed to an investment, you have a very clear entry price, a very clear exit price. You know what your position size is. You know how much risk you can take up front. And you might not know, but you could figure out exactly what's the worst that could happen to your money if the trade were to go against you. So you hedge in BTC, or excuse me, you hedge your position. If price goes against you and your hedge is unsuccessful, well, you didn't actually lose any money if you hedge 1-to-1, because even though you lost USD value, the USD value of your BTC position went up to protect you. So if you want to actually make money, you're going to have to take a larger position size. These are all things that we talk about. We've talked about ad nauseum. We've got lots of educational material on hedging in the group. This is, again, something that we've talked about very, very often. But yeah. Hey, happy St. Patrick's Day. I didn't even know it was happy St. Patrick's Day. That's yeah, but Gibby, I appreciate you. I appreciate you lurking in the background, man. Thank you for being a channel member, by the way. And that would be my advice. I do not recommend selling spot bags to buy back lower. I would recommend hedging your position. Just evaluate everything in USD and take a hedge short. Because it's the worst possible feeling in the world, man, to sell everything and be like, all right, cool, I'm gonna buy back cheaper, and then the market pumps 50%. Kill yourself. Your discussion on C chart, decide to sell now and buy back later. For me, making a spreadsheet to track has been immensely helpful. Thank you for this. Yeah, no problem, man. Helps me track actual performance and put down targets along with limit orders. Yeah, exactly. Track everything, man. Data. BTC wants you to get drunk and fight you. Oh, I see what you're saying. You are saying happy St. Patrick's Day in advancium. Okay, thank you so much. Alex, happened to me. Bought, sold at $10, sold half at 30, bought back only a bit at 25, thinking we go back lower. Result, I now hold less sold than when I started. Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah. Taking profits too early. But listen, at the same time, listen, we also need to remember something very important that I don't think enough people talk about. In general with men's health, right? Because I'm very well aware of our statistics on this channel, right? It's 99.99% men. Hold on a second. Now you got, like, come on, guys. You're gonna make me go to the Google for the data. It's Sunday. It's Sunday. Let's see here. Tyler says, nailed the hedge entry at 48 plus, price dropped to 38. Told myself I was going to take it off if daily closed at 46. Forced myself to do it at 46.8. Yeah, man. You're the man. Tyler has a good hedge strategy from what I understand. Okay, guys, that's about it. We're gonna sign off now. I appreciate you guys. You guys have been absolutely awesome. We will be back on Monday with another episode. We are going to be streaming in the afternoon now. So I've been pretty consistent around starting around 12:30 to 1. We started a little bit later today, 12:30 to 1. But let's do one more week of the streaming, and then I will be able to kind of get a good idea of exactly when I want to start streaming, because I understand that if I don't start at a consistent time, I can't expect a consistent viewership to be here. So I want to be respectful to your guys' time, and I'll get that good, consistent stream starting time for you guys. I did some initial work on setting up the Discord benefits for our YouTube channel members. So let's just have a quick discussion about that. Probably the way that it's going to work is what we're going to be doing with this, and of course for the premium group members as well. So this is basically how we're going to be doing things. We are going to be shifting things over to Kajabi for our premium trading group. This is a more advanced group for individuals who are very serious about trading, want to work directly with me and my team to go through our coursework, get access to our premium indicator suite, get access to our weekly coaching sessions. I'll get access to all of our coursework, all of our courses on our website, and get access to, currently right now, our market updates and our signals. So right now, I mean, we have good signals. We have 3 signal providers in there right now, Reflex and Sheerus. Sheerus, who focuses on the lower time frame altcoins. Reflex, who mostly just focuses on the lower time frame with BTC, but also bigger swings. and then myself, who mostly focuses on bigger swing trades for BTC and the higher tier altcoins. We are, but you know, we don't really want to be a signals group. We want to teach people how to trade. So, but obviously we understand signals get people indoors. So we are going to be opening up the signal channels to YouTube channel members and individuals who sign up with one of our affiliate links to our exchanges of choice. So KuCoin, Fairdesk, and ByBit. And so we're going to have 3 tiers, I think, either 2 or 3 tiers here on the YouTube. So there will be probably something like a $40 to $50 a month tier, and that's going to get you access to the signal groups, and then the members lounge chat room, the private Discord chat room, and then for the $5, something like $5 or $10 a month, probably $5 a month, that will give you access to just the members lounge, right? So you won't get access to the signals, but you'll get access to the private chat room, so you can discuss with everybody. All the members of the premium trading group, they're going to get. I've put together a new model for signals. So we're going to be focusing on extreme high quality swing trade signals with time horizons of weeks to months, right? Big gains. And we're going to look to publish 1 to 2 of those a week. All right. When the signals are available. So even though we're switching, we're going to, basically open up the signal channels to a lot of people. We are going to be the individuals in the premium trading group, which is about $2,000 a year. Those individuals are going to get the higher quality swing trade signals. They're also going to access to the coursework, the weekly coaching sessions, everything in Kajabi. So that's basically our business model. It's how we're going to be doing things. I want this community to grow, and it's not going to grow very quickly if everything is locked behind a big paywall. So the mentoring group, that is for individuals who are very serious about it, who really want to become a professional trader, who want to transition into being a professional trader, who want to know exactly like, how can I make this work? What kind of work-life balance do I need to make? How much money do I need to have in my account? How can I actually do this? So that's what that's for, and building strategies. And then, for traders who just want to get alpha, keep up to date, join the community, that's going to be the YouTube and affiliate pipeline for the Discord. So anyways, I did some initial work on that today and this week. I can't get it all set up until we actually switch all the premium members over to Kajabi. So that's still about a month away, but things are progressing very nicely. So you guys should look forward to seeing a lot of stuff from us. Once all this is done, then I can make a lot more content. So anyways, you guys have been amazing. Have a fantastic and safe weekend, and I will see you guys on Monday. Trade safely.